Good morning, children. The explanation part of lesson number 13, that was colonialism and urban change, we have completed. In my previous class, I gave you the answers of A, B, C part also. And now, today, it's turn of writing the answers of D1. D part answers and E part answers. Already I will give you PDF also, but then also I am showing you where the answers are written in your book, so that you can understand from where you can frame the answers of the framed questions. And I will show you the PDF in the WhatsApp group. So let's start with the answers of D part of lesson 13. First question you see, children, what is written? Why did the British introduce railways in India? Explain any 3 reasons. You have to explain any 3 reasons of the introduction of railways in India. We all know, children, railways were introduced in India in which year? 1853. And from which place to which place it was introduced? First of all, from Bombay to Thane. So, why did the British introduce the railways? We all know, because of their own benefit. The answer of this question is written on page number 151. You take out this page number 151. That is on this page it is written 151. You have to take out, children. And here at the top you see first sentence in this on this page it is written, the British introduced railways for the following aspects. You have to write only 3 regions. Here 4 regions are given. Any 3 you can write. First one was commercial advantage. Commercial means what? Because of business purpose. And in this, what we can explain? Railways collected raw materials from fields and mines and sent them to the ports to be transported to England to feed the British industries. I have already told you that that time industrialization was going on in Britain, and for any industries we all know raw materials are needed, and Britishers saw huge investment ideas and huge revenues, huge raw materials in India, and that's why they introduced railways in India, because they were in need of raw material, and with the help of railways they could collect raw materials very easily from fields and mines and send them to the ports to be transported to England to feed the British industries. Now second question you see, that is written, second point it is, that is written here, political aspect. What was the political aspect before behind introducing the railways in India? Railways safeguarded the British possessions in different parts of India to enable quick movement of armed forces and administrative convenience. We all know other countries were also in greed of expanding their control in India. And railways, with the help of railways, Britishers could go to different parts of India very quickly with their armed forces, and for administrative convenience also. If there was any revolt by the Indians also, they could suppress the revolt with the help of railways very quickly by reaching there. Third is defense aspect. Most importantly, the railways helped the British defense forces in India to counter the military attacks of other imperial countries. Other countries were also in need of controlling India, and railways helped the British defense forces in India to counter the military attacks of other imperialist countries and who were trying to expand their influence in India. Now, fourth point is here in question it is only of it is there to write only 3 points, but children, you have to write according to the marks. If this question is being asked for 3 marks, you will write 3 points, 2 marks, 2 points, 1 mark, 1 point. That is defense. Last point is investment of surplus income. Railways opened the new area where investments earned huge profits. They could see that if they invest here, then they could earn more and more profits. That's why they introduced railways in India. So it is the answer of D first question. Now D second question, you see children. What is the second question? Describe the police organization of Lord Cornwallis. We all know children, Lord Cornwallis organized police into a regular force. We have read. Here you have to write, describe the police organization of Lord Cornwallis. The answer is written on page number 150. Take out page number 150. Here you see, in this paragraph, police in Delhi, it is written. Page number 150 you will take out children. And here you see what is written. Here in second line, from second line you will start the answer. Lord Cornwallis organized the police into a regular force. And how he did that? That only you have to write in point wise. One thing I would like to inform you children, if any answer in social science, whether it is geography, civics or history, if you write in point wise, then it will be very easier for the examiner to check it and you can get more and more marks, because points, all the in CBSE board, you should write not only in standard 8 but in standard 9, 10 also. You should write the answers in point wise. So here first point what we will write? First point you will write Lord Cornwallis organized the police into a regular force. Then second point you can write a superintendent of police looked after each district with the assistance of a deputy superintendent of police. Then third point you can write each district was divided into thanas under darogas. Next point you can write villages and towns were looked after by chowkidars and kotwals. So these are the points which you can write in D second answer. Now come to D third answer. Let me see what is the question in D third question. Here you see. D third question is, highlight any 3 major improvements that took place in Delhi before the Delhi Darbar of 1877. Queen Victoria's Delhi Darbar was organized in 1877. But what you have to write children? Here you see the question. In question it is written, any 3 major improvements that took place in Delhi before the Delhi Darbar. After 1877 you will not write. You will write before the 3 major improvements that took place in Delhi before the Delhi Darbar of 1877. And this question you take out page number 149. Here what you can write? Here you see 148. On page 148 children you see. Last paragraph it is written about Delhi Darbar of 1877 saw a lot of improvement, like schemes for drainage water supply, irrigation, road area construction, development of resident areas. These all saw the development. What was the question? Before the Delhi Darbar, before that what things were there? These improvements were done before Delhi Darbar. That's why Delhi Darbar saw a lot of improvement. Means before that these improvements were made. So what you can write? First point you can write schemes for drainage water supply. You can also write the canal in Chandni Chowk was filled up. You can write trees were cut to cater to increasing traffic, especially the trams. Trams was the most modernized development of this time. Then you can write piped water and sewerage of the wall city also Delhi Darbar saw. Means before that this improvement was also taken. Earlier the drinking water was supplied to the old city by Ali Mardan Canal. So in this paragraph you can find out the answer of D3. Now come to D fourth question. What is D fourth question, children? You see on page 155. How did some old trading centers lose their glory and became de-urbanized? We all know, children, Britishers paid lots of attention on port cities. Those port cities were also called presidency towns. Which three port cities I have told you? Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. And why did the Britishers paid more attention on these port cities? Because that time water transport was the easiest and the cheapest method of transportation, and that's why they developed these port cities to transport people and goods to England from these cities. And that's why the old cities which were earlier very famous, they lost their glory and they became de-urbanized. So this answer you can write from page number 147. Take out page number 147. Here you see, children, on page number 147, third paragraph, you see. Many towns, what is written here? You can see. Many towns that had been popular earlier for some specialized goods, means those towns were famous for some special goods. They lost their glory with the decline in demand for their products. Decline means downfall. People were not demanding their products, so they lost their glory. The old trading centers and ports were replaced by new trade centers. New trade centers were Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. Here you see what is written. De-urbanization during the 19th century destroyed the important cities. And which cities were very famous that time? Earlier cities which were very famous. Here one is written Surat, Masulipattnam and Srirangapatnam. Then next point you can write, the rapid expansion of British power in India ended the power of regional kingdoms. Regional kingdoms means those small kingdoms which were prevalent in a particular region. And once they lost their glory, many people migrated to other cities. In this way, old trading centers were de-urbanized. De-urbanization means, de-urbanization means the destruction or end of old towns and cities. Okay. Now children, you see D5th question. What is written in D5th question? For that you take out page number 155. Page number 155, you see D5th question. It is written, what type of discrimination? Discrimination means you must be knowing, children. I have already told you that the Britishers were considering themselves superior because of their skin color. They were white in color, we Indians were black in color, and that's why they were looking upon us as inferior. That type of discrimination did the people of, you have to write, children, what type of discrimination did the people of Calcutta experience after it became the British capital in India? First, we all know Calcutta was our capital, but in which year New Delhi was made Indian capital? In 1911. So which type of discrimination did the people of Calcutta experience after it became the British capital in India? And this answer is written on page number 147. Which type of discrimination was there? I have already told you. Calcutta was divided into two towns, two parts. Which two parts? White Town and Black Town. Calcutta was divided into which two parts? White Town and Black Town. And as the name appears, in White Town, who were living? The British part was known as the White Town, whereas the Indian part was known as the Black Town. And what was the discrimination in this British part and Indian part, White Town and Black Town? Here you see, children, it is written, the Indian part was inhabited by the poor. Means in Indian part, in Black Town, who were living? Poor people or rich people? Poor. It had congested streets. Congested means, very close. Streets were very close. And shanties. Shanties means small huts were there. And whereas the British part had sprawling bungalows in British area, in White Town, big bungalows were there and with wide open spaces. Black Town had congested streets, no open space was there, shanties were there, small huts were there. But in White Town, big bungalows were there and wide open spaces were there. The speedy industrial growth from 1850 in Calcutta, especially in the field of textile and jute, attracted British investments. British were very much interested to invest in Calcutta, and for that, what did they start? They started building infrastructure facilities. Which type of infrastructure facilities? Like railways, roads and telegraph lines. And henceforth, the population and employment opportunities of Calcutta increased tremendously. So, in this answer, what you will write, children? D fifth answer. Calcutta was divided into two parts, White Town and Black Town. In White Town, Britishers were living. In Black Town, Indians were living. In Black Town, the Indian part was inhabited by the poor. It had congested streets and shanties, small huts were there, whereas in British part, they had sprawling bungalows and with wide open spaces. So this type of discrimination was in Calcutta before becoming the capital of India. So I think this answers of D part is clear to all of you. Your today's homework is, children, you write these 5 answers of D part and then you submit it in your, you write it in your history notebook, submit it in a school campus. You send your notebooks with your parents on the dates given to you as per your subject and schedule, and then it will be checked. I will provide you the PDF of these answers also, but I have also told you from where you can frame the questions. Inside questions also you can frame, and the answers also you can find out from there. So understood? That's all for today. Goodbye and thank you.